To news now. Before we went on the short break, we had the proceedings from the National Assembly where the Speaker had communicated certain changes that the President had made to his cabinet minister choices. Let's take a look at the highlights and then we'll delve into that.
The highlights. Nairobi's Outer Ring Road marred with demos as the youth stage anti-government demos. Also, youth stage anti-government demos in Homa Bay. And Boda Boda leadership have slammed the anti-government protests, citing concerns over the infiltration by goons.
Welcome once again to this live broadcast. My name is Hibak Said. To start us off, President William Ruto has made further changes to his cabinet nominees, with Soipan Tuya taking the Defense Ministry, while Aden Duale being moved to the Ministry of Environment. This is according to a communication sent to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, in which President William Ruto communicated the changes. This comes as Wetangula was communicating to the House names of 11 cabinet secretary nominees that the President had nominated to be part of his reconstituted cabinet.
The names of persons submitted to this House for approval for appointment as cabinet secretaries are as follows: Honorable Professor Kithure Kindiki, EGH, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Interior and National Administration; Dr. Deborah Mulongo Barasa, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Health; Honorable Alice Wahome, EGH, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development; Dr. Julius Migos Ogamba, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Education; Honorable Roslinda Soipan Tuya, EGH, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Defense; Dr. Andrew Mwihia Karanja, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Order. 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 On order. Honorable Rosalinda Soipan Tuya, AGH, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Defense. Dr. Andrew Mwihia Karanja, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Agriculture and Livestock Development. Order, honorable members. Order. Order. Honorable Aden Bare Duale, EGH, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Order. Mr. Order, honorable members, order. Order. Order.
Those are some of the proposed changes in the half cabinet that the President had shared earlier on last week. Now, we do have our reporter on ground, Mike Agwongo, around Outer Ring Road. We want to know how the protests are ongoing. Mike, if you can hear me, what's happening there?
Thank you, Hibak. Indeed, we're coming to you live from here at Feather, and as you can see, these are live pictures of military officers, including Kenya Army and Kenya Air Force, that have been deployed like about that minutes ago to calm the situation here at Feather, to make sure that the situation here is calm. Later on, or maybe about 1 hour ago, demonstrators and police were in an exchange of battles here, and we witnessed them pelting stones at police officers, just trying to disperse, in a bid to disperse the protesters. Police officers also did throw tear gas at them and dispersed some of them. we can see that with the introduction of military officers now, we can see there is a little bit of calm, but about 10 minutes ago we've seen tear gas canisters here and there just to bring the protesters to a calm situation. But as at now, since the military officers arrived, we have seen some calm situation here at Fedha. This is Outer Ring Road that also connect JKIA on the other end, but they have contained, police officers that is, have contained the protesters to make sure that they don't get in the other side of JKIA, that is Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. As earlier on mentioned, as you mentioned, Hibak, is that these protests have now turned into anti-government protests. Now protesters claiming that President William Ruto's government must, by its large, vacate the office. But as President William Ruto said about on Sunday, he is going to make sure that calm is reinstated here in the country after a month of full of protest. But as at now, here at Outer Ring Road, we have witnessed some little bit of calmness since military officers joined in. About 30 minutes ago, we've witnessed tear gas canisters here and there, police officers trying to calm the situation, but we haven't seen anyone injured as up to now. The other road, Mombasa Road, also had been barricaded by police officers to make sure that protesters do not access JKIA. As at now, they haven't accessed JKIA at any point because they have barricaded road on the other side of Outer Ring Road, and also Mombasa Road has also been barricaded by police officers. We've also witnessed protesters in town trying to calm the situation. That is, there were two kinds of protesters: anti-government protesters and pro-government protesters, trying to make sure that businesses are ongoing as usual. We did not witness police officers pelting or throwing tear gas canisters in town, but you know, they also were wondering whom to deal with, because police officers were also protecting both protesters. Anti-government protesters and also pro-government protesters were also in police protection. As at now, here at Outer Ring Road, as you can see, military officers' availability means the protesters have also calmed down and also backed themselves from the main road to make sure that they stay away from military officers. So that is the situation here in Outer Ring Road at Fedha, and we'll be bringing you up to speed on our subsequent bulletin on what will be happening here at Outer Ring Road and Mombasa Road. Back to you, Hibak.
Thank you so much, Mike Kagongo, for that. Mike will come and tell us more in the 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. news. The situation seems to be contained, but there is military presence. We'll see how that turns out. Moving on, protests in Homa Bay County have witnessed heavy police presence, which has drawn the attention of more protesters. The situation in the county has also seen police and protesters chase games with the unrest likely to heighten. The pro-good governance protests that have rocked the country for the past few weeks has seen Gen Zs demand accountability and better governance, with the president being forced to give in to some of their demands. All right, a section of Boda Boda operators have announced or have denounced the anti-government protests, citing concerns over the infiltration by goons who have resulted in using Boda Bodas to commit criminal activities. During a press briefing held at Kamkunji Police Station in Nairobi, the chairman of the Boda Boda Safety Association of Kenya, Kevin Mubadi, emphasized that such demonstrations have led to disruptions and destruction of the sector, urging all riders to refrain from any activities related to protests.
Kwa majina naitwa Kevin Mubadi, National Executive Chairman Boda Boda Safety Association of Kenya. Leo tumekutana na viongozi wa Kilimani Ward wote, na jambo ambalo limetuleta hapa, jambo la kwanza ni kuongelea maneno ya usalama na pia kuwashukuru kwa maintain peace during this demonstration period ambayo tumekuwa ikitendeka, na pia kushukuru watu wa Boda Boda kwa kutojihusisha na haya maandamano ambayo yamekuwa yakiendelea hapa Nairobi. Kwa kujitolea na kusimama kidete kusema kwamba tuna protect area zetu za kazi, kwa sababu ukiangalia what has been happening, maandamano inatendeka, hiyo maandamano ikitendeka, sisi kama watu wa Boda Boda tunapoteza biashara. Sina mna hiyo Boda Boda? Si mnapoteza biashara? Mnataka maandamano ama mtaki maandamano? Yes.
Kwa majina naitwa Bosco Nyamwea, mwana Boda Boda hapa Kilimani, Kileleshwa Ward. Siku ya leo tumejitokeza kuweka uhusiano mwema na serikali na wanabiashara wenzetu, ili wakati huu wa maandamano ili tuweze kufanya kazi pamoja, ndio pia biashara zetu ziweze kunawiri. Tusikuwe na shida ya hapa na pale, kwa sababu wakati huu kwa hii sekta yetu iko na changamoto kwa wale wauni goons, wale wana infiltrate kwa hii biashara wakitumia Boda Boda kufanya uhalifu.
Kwa majina ni Martin Wanjala, chairman wa Riverside Kileleshwa. Tunaunga hiyo mkono kabisa 100%. Waja vijana watulie venye presa alisema, anasoti mambo yao. So ni kutulia tu alafu mambo itakuwa sawa.
Now, the Association of Construction Managers of Kenya, Interior Designers Association of Kenya, Construction Managers Chapter and Landscape Architects have announced their objection towards the National Building Code 2024, which was launched on Wednesday last week. Speaking during a presser at Kenya College of Interior Designers in Lavington, they stated that the code has excluded many professions which are offered and are expensive at learning institutions, and the government's action may render many Kenyans jobless. They have also mentioned that they have filed a petition in the court and they are full of hope that their voices will be heard.
Despite being the architects of these professions, the government is refreshingly at the forefront in their discrimination. While it has accredited the courses, majority of government jobs, including parastatal and agencies, do not formally recognize these professions. This extends to government parastatals and agencies.
Make no mistake, we are not demanding for an invention of the wheel by all means, no. We are simply asking that the true happening of the industry be reflected in the National Building Code.
Government is funding these people through taxpayers' money in universities, and the same government is purporting not to recognize them. Yet the government has accredited these courses through Commission on University Education. How can that be possible?
And this is a voice from interior designers in Kenya, a voice from construction managers in Kenya, and also a voice from landscape architects in Kenya. And today we say again, we do what?
Reject the National Building Code 2024.
Amidst the riots and economic uncertainty occasioned by the ongoing demos, the national government has been challenged to offer incentives to local manufacturers and assemblers as a solution for the high rates of unemployment. According to Honda Kenya Chairman Dr. Isaac Kalua Green, one of the key areas that the government would look into in the motorcycle manufacturing industry that he says has the potential of employing over 5 million Kenyans. Currently, about 1 million people are benefiting either directly or indirectly in the growing business.
The greatest opportunity in our country is in the automotive sector. The lowest hanging fruit is in the motorcycle sector. A motorcycle has more than, it's about 290 plus different parts. Currently, these parts are imported from other countries. Policy should drive a very smooth transition of getting us, and I mean smooth, to transition us from moving from importing these parts to making them local.
And maybe eventually in the future, we also have to see how we can provide customers, more easily our motorcycles so that they can move with our products wherever they want to go.
Moving on, persons living with disabilities have condemned the police for using excessive force during the anti-government protests while dispersing the demonstrators. According to them, the use of excessive force by the police gives the disabled a hard time to escape at an expense of even losing their lives. They have further urged President William Ruto to include them in the cabinet and also in the IEBC Commission.
We recognize the constitutional right to peacefully protest. However, we strongly condemn the violence witnessed during the ongoing protest, which has disrupted normal life and exacerbated challenges faced by all citizens, particularly persons with disabilities.
So we are here basically to call for the enforcement of the 5% employability requirement for persons with disabilities into his government. As you may know, so we are kindly requesting our president that as he thinks of reconstituting his cabinet secretaries, his government, his executive, he can look far and wide and consider having persons with disabilities as members of his cabinet. And we're saying persons with disabilities are the least corrupt.
Persons with disabilities since time memorial have not been part of the IBC Commission. So it is our call today that the incoming commission members, there must be a person with disability.
So, as the implementation of CBC continues, the government has been called upon to allocate funds in education sector for the establishment of a CBC resource center where learners will have a chance to interact with all that they learn theoretically in classes. Speaking at Gravity CBC Center located at Eastern Bypass, teachers and learners expressed their happiness to have interacted with a lot of things they had not seen before. The CBC curriculum has been facing challenges in its implementation where a lot of schools are decrying due to a lack of resources.
The government should be able to open a mini CBC center, at least one per county. With this initiative, all the schools will be able to benefit, be it private or public, because we know one of the major challenge that is affecting the CBC is lack of resources, equipment and tools.
The facility offers different disciplines when it comes to the learning areas. There are, of course, music room, we have the video room, the pottery, learners taken through. As far as SIGNET is concerned, grade 3, 4, 5 learners were taken through a SIGNET project and practical assessments.
I'm impressed with what I have seen here in Gravity, Gravity CBT Center, because what Gravity Center has is even more than expected what we have in class. And I would really prefer that more schools to be bringing their children here to learn these things practically. In class, we do lots of theory, but when you come to CBC, Gravity CBC Center, you will find everything practical.
Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka's allied MPs in Parliament have welcomed the Azimio coalition leader Raila Odinga's decision to rescind his intention to form a government of national unity with President William Ruto. The MPs, led by Party Secretary General Shakila Abdallah, welcomed the move, saying President William Ruto should carry his own cross. The MPs spoke hours after the ODM party, through Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, released a statement saying the party is not in negotiations with President Ruto to form a government of national unity.
Tunapongeza msimamo wa Mheshimiwa Raila kwa kupindua msimamo wake kusema hataki kuungana na serikali ya Kenya Kwanza. Tunampongeza sana na tunapongeza ile statement imetolewa leo na ODM ya kwamba wale wanaotaka kwenda waende peke yao, na sisi tunawashinikiza wanaotaka kwenda waende kivyao kama individuals. Waache kugawanya Azimio, waache kugawanya members wetu. Wao wana uwezo wa kwenda kivyao, lakini sisi tuko imara na hatutageuka, and we are not boarding in the existing government.
Azimio is intact, Azimio is unshakable, and Azimio cannot be cracked. And we know very well there are people working very hard to cause division within Azimio, working very hard to bring some unprecedented moves. All the parties of Azimio have put it very clearly, they are not boarding.